Well, it is a historic day, and President Biden made a courageous decision that Donald Trump could never make, and that is to put country over ego. And as a result of his decision, we have a much better opportunity to prevent Donald Trump and his gang from taking over our government and maybe never giving it back.
So you were pleased he stepped aside today?
I was pleased, but I recognized, just like a decision President Johnson had to make decades ago under different circumstances, what a painful and difficult decision this was. And so I respect him and his decision-making process. I'm just pleased that we can now get on with it and have a better opportunity to prevent Trump and his gang from taking over our government.
Are you ready to endorse Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee?
Not yet.
Why not?
I think she would be an excellent nominee for us. But from the very moment that I asked President Biden to step aside almost 3 weeks ago, I made the point that we need a fair, open, and democratic process, and we still need that. I think that's basically what President Obama, what earlier Speaker Pelosi were calling for. No disrespect to Vice President Harris, but this doesn't have to be decided within minutes or hours of President Biden's decision. We need to engage the whole country. We need to be hearing from voters across the country, and this shouldn't be strictly a Washington inside deal.
So describe the process you want to see unfold now.
Well, ultimately, I want the convention to decide this. It may be a little messy, it may be a little disorganized, a little uncertainty, but it is democratic process with a small d. That's what we need to engage the country. And I'd like to see some town halls or some other ways that Vice President Harris, anyone else who might want to challenge her, are out there presenting themselves to the American people.
So you want to see an election at the Democratic Convention in Chicago in about 3 weeks. You want to see the thousands of delegates who show up there, and you're a superdelegate as a member of Congress. You want to see who they vote for?
I'll be there with several hundred Texans and several thousand Democrats from across the country. That is where the decision has to be made. The idea that this can be some virtual advanced thing and done in that way, I think, would not be what we need. American people need to see us with all of our shortcomings and strengths and recognize that we want to provide a candidate for a new generation who will protect women's health care, do something about the climate crisis, and not engage in the kind of authoritarianism that Donald Trump seems to admire.
Have you heard of any other Democrat, at least so far, it's only been a few hours since President Biden decided to step aside, who's ready to challenge Kamala Harris for the nomination?
I'm not sure there will be anyone, but we need more than a few hours to decide. And it's only natural that she'd be making all those phone calls and doing everything she can to lock up this nomination. It's probably hers. But let's be sure that we have evaluated every aspect and given anyone who thinks they would be strongest to defeat Donald Trump an opportunity to be in on this.
We'll see what happens in Chicago.